Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the B2B Revenue Leadership Podcast. Hey, it's another year, another time to make some more money, and I've got the course for you. Start the conversation, get the meeting will help your team, both business development, sales development, get into those new cold accounts, whether that function is under marketing or sales. I'll help you with that by starting organic, natural conversations, not pitching. Have people open up with you, build up a connection with them, understand your total addressable market, prioritize it, and put in a system that scales, that's predictable, that works the way you want it to work instead of the old school pitch. Believe me, I've sat through so many of these cold calling seminars, courses, books, and I've been doing it for 30 years, and it's evolved. And what I'm doing today is what's working in today's world. It works naturally, and people are just loving it, getting meetings, closing deals, and doing it without the rejection that is typically there in sales. So check it out at b2brevenue.com under the training tab. You can schedule a call with me. We can talk it over. I'll explain how it works and how we can work together on it. You can buy it per student, or I'll customize it for your particular product and team and coach you through that process. Also, if you're a sales leader and you want predictability, you want direction, momentum, and control with your deals, you can sign up for that course as well. Same type of model. A year-long access to it. It's content, community, and coaching, all included at b2brevenue.com. You can get my free ebook there on how companies make product selections. That's all free. Let's get into the interview, but I want to make sure you're checking out my partners. They're in the show notes. This week, it's Pipedrive and CoVideo. Pipedrive is the new CRM. It's been out for 5 years. I've been using it forever. I love that. It's connected up with your email, your calendar, and now they have team capabilities. CoVideo is the video email system. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's the way to break into new accounts. It's so much more engaging than text. Check them out. Also, make sure you're checking me out on LinkedIn, Brian G. Burns on LinkedIn. Let's get into the interview. I'll sum it up at the end. Hey, Gaetano, welcome back to the show. As a way of getting started, give us a little update on yourself.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you having me. You're a true talent and voice of the community, and it's always a pleasure, and I'm humbled to be here, so thank you. Quick update. So as people probably saw, Sales Hacker was acquired by Outreach a couple of months ago, and since that point, I decided not to join Outreach full-time and kind of to depart from Sales Hacker and lead up demand generation at Nextiva. And Nextiva is 150 million ARR annually in revenue, and based out of Scottsdale, Arizona. And Nextiva is a all-in-one communications platform for small businesses and enterprise businesses. And we offer voice over IP as kind of the flagship product, and then we've got a bundle that kind of encompasses CRM, live chat for your website, analytics, marketing automation, and surveys all in one. So it's a pretty robust platform, and we're trying to transform the way businesses communicate. So that's what I'm up to.
Now, I got to imagine, and I don't know that space very well, that it'd be highly competitive and confusing. Is that true? Or?
Oh, gosh. Oh, yeah. So voice over IP is one of the most cutthroat competitive industries ever. Some of the keywords we're bidding on in AdWords can be up to $200 to $300 a click, and the only other industries I know that are that expensive are car accidents, lawyers, and medical. I think the most expensive keyword ever is like mesothelioma. I think it's like $1,000 a click or something like that.
Yeah. Pain-driven words.
Yeah, pain-driven words. Yeah, but dude, voice over IP is super, super, super competitive. Our competitors have very, very deep pockets. So that's another interesting thing about our industry. Every competitor is publicly traded, and we're private. We don't have an exit strategy, and that's kind of one of the interesting things that we use to differentiate. It's actually a selling point in our sales process. We say, look, all these other guys, they're looking to please shareholders. We're focusing on long-term growth, and we're making decisions based on the best interest of our customers and our employees, not shareholders. And that certainly differentiates us in the selling process.
And how do they define your role as demand gen? Because that can mean a lot of things to a lot of people.
Yeah. So the way that I kind of define demand generation is you're not capturing demand that's already there. You're generating new demand. So you're kind of focusing on top and middle of the funnel prospecting, lead generation. But it's kind of like lead generation, but more intertwined with brand and PR and social and email marketing. And it's not just purely focused on bottom of the funnel lead gen.
And who's your ideal customer profile? Who's the title, the company size, things like that?
Yeah, sure. So the fascinating thing about our business model is that our bread and butter is in the SMB space, high velocity, transactional model sales process where deals close in less than 7 days. We have a lot of inbound lead gen. In fact, I am required to generate approximately 300 leads a day.
Wow.
So it's a very high quota from a lead gen perspective. And, the inbound process works beautifully because, we've kind of got that part of the business, down pat. It's a well-oiled machine at this point. So SMB target profile can be basically any small business, any industry. It's kind of similar to Pipedrive, when I was running SEO there. So I know kind of the model and how it works, but we also have an enterprise sales division, and our ideal customer profile for enterprise is very different. It's chief information officers, senior IT managers, technical audiences, and typically it's tech, tech, IT, cloud communications, that bucket. So that's who we go after.
And how much of it is like them switching to you or them just picking one?
Yeah. So not many switch actually.
Really?
It's a pretty sticky it's a pretty sticky product. So the only time people switch is when their current provider is just failing to meet their expectations. So that's why staying top of mind is super important, because nobody really goes on LinkedIn to, on any given day and says, hey, I got to find a VoIP provider,
I'm switching.
Or, I'm switching, right? It's competitor XYZ has 10 dropped calls in the last week, and I'm fed up with this crap. So now I'm going to go research what else is out there. But that's a very small percentage of customers. The majority of customers that we acquire are customers that realize that, they can no longer support running their business on their personal cell phone.
Okay. So that's the tipping point, I guess.
Yeah, that would be the tipping point. So it's a lot of emerging businesses. And that's why for us, content strategy is so important, because what we want to do is capture people that are thinking about starting a small business and people who have just, started a small business, so that once it grows to a certain point, that tipping point, as you called it, we can capture them when they're ready to fall.
And when you say content, this is a lot like Pipedrive, where you start maybe even with one license. Somebody says, okay, I'm sick of a spreadsheet. Yep. I want my email and my CRM connected. And they get one license, and then they hire somebody, and you start growing with them. Is that the model?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's kind of like the way I think of it, I'm a musician, so I think of it as when Justin Bieber first came out, he was very young and he had a small fan base on YouTube, but as he grew and got more popular, his fans essentially got older with him.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I try to, think about my marketing. And I also try to think of, my content as music, as songs. And I think about the messaging as how is that going to resonate? Think of our consumers of content as our fans, not as, hey, I got to inject my products inside this stuff.
And so what content do they want to see? And what channels?
Yeah.
Is it written? Is it audio? Is it video?
Yeah. So, it's interesting because the sales velocity is so high and the deal sizes are small to medium size, but they close quick. A lot of the content that we produce is like bottom funnel video stuff. And we spend a lot on AdWords. We spend a lot of time investing into peer review sites, like G2 Crowd. Like these are massively influential sites, Capterra. But they also kind of unfortunately hold us at ransom. Some of these other sites that have like aggregators and comparison tables and lists and stuff like that, like they essentially they require you to pay them a mafia fee.
Yeah.
So,
God forbid they want to make money.
Exactly. It's very expensive though. And when you realize all these different things like AdWords, these aggregator sites, PR, it ends up being a lot. But getting back to the content, we invest a lot in video because this stuff is really technical and it can be intimidating. No one wants to read like a 3,000 word white paper on why you need to switch from on-premise, old legacy systems and cloud to cloud, 10 reasons why cloud is sexy and stuff like that. Like it kind of works, but that's the same old stuff everyone else is doing. So we're starting to invest far more into video. And we're trying to get more creative with our ads too. Like if you look at the stuff that Monday.com and Grammarly are doing on YouTube, that's the direction we want to take our advertising. So that's kind of the mindset right now.
And I'm hearing that's pretty cost effective, those pre-roll YouTube ads.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I mean, the thing that makes those ads so genius is that, brand popularity now and brand sort of just recognition actually influences a lot of search marketing. So because we're investing a lot in ads, we want to make our brand more well-known so that even though, we may not be the number one result in the search, because we're like number 3 or number 4, but our brand is more heavily recognized, we'll be able to get those clicks. And looking at our AdWords data, I look at that stuff pretty much every day. The more well-known brands are getting the majority of the click-through, and it doesn't matter how much you're bidding. If you're well-known as a brand, you're going to get the majority of clicks. That's just reality.
Yeah. And how about any organic? Because that was kind of your genesis, right? The SEO.
Yeah. So that's the other thing too, man. Like we're also realizing that brands that get more monthly search volume for their branded terms are beating us. And the only way for us to catch up is to do top of the funnel demand generation. And those pre-roll YouTube ads are a great way to do it. I was looking at a trend graph of Monday.com's popularity in Google Trends, and it's just a hockey stick. And it pretty much parallels perfectly to when they started doing those pre-roll YouTube ads. So that's why we want to start investing heavily in that, because we know we're trailing in the race of popularity. For example, one of our top competitors is Vonage, and they've been pretty much a household name since they had that sort of viral TV commercial ad campaign back in the day with that stupid song. But everyone knows that song, and because of that, everyone knows the brand name of Vonage. So we've got to come up with ways to kind of catch up, because we're trailing in the race for branded search popularity every month.
Yeah, and I got to believe that AdWords is just cost prohibitive. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Oh, yeah, totally, man. I mean, we're trying to reduce reliance on AdWords by doing other types of channel marketing that's more effective. So we have a reseller program. We're like tripling our investment in SEO. We're doing webinars. So webinars is one of the best ways we're kind of bringing cold or dark or sleepy or inactive, whatever you want to call it, leads back to life. We're re-engaging a lot of prospects that way. We're looking for like communities that we can collaborate with and try to break into channels like for example in sales. Sales Hacker was the go-to community for brands that were looking to get exposure because we had an engaged community. So if you invested, say $10K into a Sales Hacker webinar, you're probably going to get a much higher ROI on that than you would have got spending $10K on AdWords. So those are some other routes that we're looking to go. That's why we're trying to partner with people like Gartner and Serious Decisions and all this stuff, because that's where we can get a lot of bang for our buck.
And when you pick a webinar, what type of topic would you focus on?
Yeah, it depends on the audience, but like for we're realizing that some softer topics are kind of working well, because I think people are just hitting the technical stuff really hard because it's closer to the bottom of the funnel. Yeah. But we're doing things like senior IT manager career path, and then we get like a chief information officer from like a top company to talk about like his career path and how he made it to become a chief information officer. What are some of the prerequisites, and just like career stuff and softer topics are a really good way to kind of put an unassuming, topic out there. People don't have their guard up so high when you do a topic like that, rather than, the top 10 reasons why you should consider,
right.
cloud, because people are going to know that's a product pitch.
How about
you know what I mean?
Sure. How about like kind of verticals like finance or real estate, develop, agents? Because, I work with Pipedrive, and that's what we're working together with on now, is like hitting those, those entrepreneurs that are turning into 3 to 5 to 10 people.
Yeah. Yeah. High growth industries. Yeah. We've identified a couple. I can't really share what they are, because sure. God forbid a competitor hears this interview, they'll know what we're going after.
Steals your thunder.
Yeah. Can't let them steal the thunder. There's a lot of juice in this interview that, can't leak too much.
Sure. Understand. And so you get judged on what, 300 a day? That seems super high. Is that?
It's very high, and it's only growing. We need to actually do more than that this year. And the distribution that we try to stick to is like 60-40 organic to paid. But in some cases it can be more lopsided than that. But the reality is that a bottom of the funnel organic visit, somebody that's searching a term like, someone that's searching a term like business phone service, that traffic to us is probably the most valuable traffic that we could ever get, because, especially if they fill out a form on that landing page, pretty much a guarantee that it's going to lose that many deals for that. Our conversion is super high. Versus like if, it's a little bit more of a obscure search, comes in through a paid channel like ad, they might still be in that researching phase, and then more work because we've already captured that lead, but we got to keep them engaged until they close. That deal cycle might be like around 2 to 3 weeks. And we all know that email marketing and email nurturing is really tough. So if you're not doing that perfectly well, your chances of closing that deal are even lower. So yeah, it's a challenge.
Yeah. And are you buying the traffic from like G2 Crowd and the review sites? I mean, because they offer, giving you the information about who's searching in your category and stuff.
They want us to do that really bad.
Yeah.
We're not committed to it yet because it's so freaking expensive.
Yeah.
But what we are doing, and we spend a lot of time on this, is we are like pretty much doing everything we can to get people to leave us reviews. Like we have a full-time dedicated person on just getting us reviews. So that's how much we value that.
And on the social side, what channel is most effective for you?
Definitely LinkedIn.
It is.
Without a doubt.
Yeah,
absolutely LinkedIn. We've even started experimenting with LinkedIn advertising, which like at Sales Hacker, we never had to do because the voice of Max and myself, and we had some other people elevating their personal brands. When you have all that working together like a orchestra, man, you don't really need to do that much or really any paid. But with us, LinkedIn has been tremendous, and even LinkedIn advertising has been tremendous. There's no better place to reach tough to hit executives and technical audiences than I would say LinkedIn. So it's been gold for us.
And so you're going after entrepreneurs. Is that the profile? Under 10 people and putting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I think I've seen your ads on there.
We usually advertise ebooks.
Yeah.
That's our big thing. So we usually advertise ebooks. So for the SMB, yeah, we're looking for entrepreneurs, founders of startups. That's kind of like our bread and butter there. And then we also, of course, on the enterprise side, we're always targeting CIOs, IT managers, that sort of thing.
Anything out of YouTube other than the pre-rolled ads, or?
Yeah, YouTube is kind of an impact for us. More on YouTube SEO.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of companies now, we're noticing, especially our competitors, they're hitting the Google SEO really hard, but they're totally ignoring YouTube SEO. So basically what I'm trying to do is look for gaps in the market in terms of what competitors are not doing. And I'm saying, look, let's just go there. They're not doing this. Let's do this. Everyone's doing the same thing. Let's try something else. So we're looking to invest more into YouTube SEO, how-to videos, explainer videos. We have a lot of customer testimonials that exist on YouTube that are really effective for us. So we're trying to transform it, though, from being like product videos and the typical thing you would expect to like, wow, this is an amazing YouTube channel with a lot of entertaining stuff. How do we try to make it more like a media publication channel rather than a SaaS company channel?
Right, kind of like your journey, a little bit of humor, a little bit of who you are and what you do and how you're different, and something that's a little bit more engaging instead of a product demo or a pre-recorded webinar.
Exactly. Like what you do with your videos, man. Your signature for the videos is pretty interesting because like you're always walking around exercising with like
Well, when you have the budget like mine, you can afford that.
But that's the cool thing about your videos, though, man. Because like people are saying like, wow, look at this guy exercising with his AirPods on, and he's just thinking about B2B sales while he's exercising or while he's finishing an exercise, and you're just like dropping little nuggets of gold while you're done exercising. You're looking all sweaty, like your face is in the camera, it's intense, but like it's awesome. The sun is usually making your eyes a little squinty, but like it's the best. It's some of the best content I see on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and there's no ask, there's no pitch.
Exactly.
You don't have to do anything. I don't tell you who I am or anything. You either listen or you don't.
Exactly.
And do you see that kind of growing? Because what I'm kind of seeing is like the internet's moving up this next level. They got the review sites, you got the social, and that the old hub and spoke model has its place, but it's no longer the primary layer. Are you sensing that, or?
Yeah, totally. A lot of stuff that used to work does not work anymore. Like I think I posted about this today, actually, like press releases, for example.
I saw that. Yeah,
man, the press releases are dead, dude. I don't care. Like I don't understand how these sites like PR Newswire are still in the conversation. Like I think it's just all noise. Nobody pays attention to press releases anymore. It's crazy to me how much time these companies spend on getting these press releases into like a perfect condition grammatically. Like they obsess over it and then they put it out. No one reads it. No one cares.
Right.
But yeah, going back to your point though, it's all becoming way more cohesive. Like SEO, for example, like you used to be able to just focus on content and building some links to it and you'd probably rank. Now it's all about how popular is your brand online. Social media impacts SEO. You can actually awaken the algorithm in many ways by sending surges of social media traffic to any given piece of content. And if it's good and if it's resonating and if the time on page is pretty strong and it's low bounce, people are scrolling down to the bottom of the page. So that means it has like pretty strong scroll depth. All these engagement factors are going to ultimately influence ranking. So now if you just have good content with a lot of links, but you don't get that engagement, you don't get that hype around it on social media, your brand is relatively not recognizable, you're going to struggle to get results. So that's why everything is becoming more challenging, because it's becoming more cohesive and more integrated.
And that's it. I see so many CMOs, but I talk to CMOs all day and very few get it, that they're living like it's 10 years ago. And they're trying to build the hub and spoke model. And I'm like, okay, that's part of it. But, how many blog readers are you going to get? And they go, 11. And it's like, you're like,
Yeah. What are some of the most like outdated dinosaur like things mistakes that you see like CMOs making nowadays?
Oh, that they spend 2 weeks on a blog post, and they just think getting someone to click on it gets them something.
Yeah.
And the numbers versus the quality.
Yeah.
That is classic because they generate a report. I mean, you get judged by 300 now. If that 300 was gold, they turn into business. That's a whole different than 300 kids.
Duds.
Yeah.
That's why actually the real number I get judged on is quoted amount. So marketing at Nextiva is held to a quota number per day in contract value proposed. So if our reps are not proposing contracts and we're not seeing that in Salesforce, we're basically in hot water.
Yeah. And how do you deal with that when you're not in that office? Because distance is always one of those things that people get judged on. Meaning that the closer you are, the less likely they are to judge you. The further away, it's like, I don't know what the hell this kid's doing, right?
Yep. Well, for one, I've gotten really good at working remote.
Yeah.
I've gotten really disciplined. Pretty much, people know what my hours are. I'm pretty religious about time blocking, and I monitor these dashboards pretty closely. So if I see that by 12 o'clock, we're probably not going to hit our lead count for the day, or like quoted amount is really low, I'll engage with a sales ops or somebody from sales and be like, what's going on? And then I'll dig into it more, and I'll realize that, time to contact might be very low. Or I'll review our chat logs, because most of our leads, believe it or not, come in through the website on live chat. So I'll start reviewing chat logs, and I'll see are people messing up on chat? That's another thing I do now more than ever before is I kind of audit sales more than I ever have before. So I'm constantly listening to SDRs on their calls. I'm auditing calls. I'm auditing chat logs, making sure that the sales process is as fine-tuned and optimized as possible.
And how's that working with that team? Because there's always a little bit of contention. Because the quantity versus quality equation is always moving.
Yeah. Well, it's just a culture thing at Nextiva. It's known that marketing is held accountable for sales numbers, so we're kind of in this together.
Yeah,
and
more aligned.
There's gonna be tension, but people just kind of accept it now. Look. It is what it is, man. Sure, there's always going to be that debate over quality versus quantity, or, we're not getting enough leads, or the leads aren't hot enough, or whatever. But, we're catching a lot of reps that are, a little bit lazy, man. They know that they...
Kidding, salespeople?
I mean, I know, right? It's like they talk to a lead that's not 100% ready to buy. It's like, shit, man, I'm going to have to do a lot of work to... save a note in the CRM and remind myself to follow up. We ride these sales reps pretty hard, man. They've got to be on top of it. They've got to be following up. In fact, in December, we cut our paid spend in half and expected that lead gen was going to be very low due to the holidays. In order to make up for that, we really were making sure that these reps were prospecting, following up, hitting their activities. All that philosophy from Pipedrive, activity-based sales, I truly do believe in that, and that's something we try to stick to here at Nextiva.
Yeah, definitely in that sales. Now, I really appreciate your time today. Where do people go to learn more about you and your company?
Yeah, well, you can just hit me up on LinkedIn. Just search Gaetano Dinardi, and if you want to learn more about Nextiva, just go to nextiva.com, and you can learn all about us there.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed that. Hey, make sure you check us out on LinkedIn. And B2B Revenue is the website. You get the free ebook there. You can learn about the courses. You can also check out my YouTube channel, Brian Burns Sales Podcast on YouTube, where I store both these podcasts, my videos that I do daily on sales and marketing tips, all the webinars. are hosted there. So if you ever get lost and you don't know where to go, Brian Burns Sales Podcast on YouTube is a great place to be. And you can sign up to get on my calendar at B2B Revenue under training, and we can talk over your sales and marketing situations about getting you into your dream accounts in a fast, natural, organic way. And if you happen to see my content fly by on LinkedIn, I'd really appreciate a like or comment or a share, and we'll see you next time.